A fatal crash on US 1
Going that fast in the wrong way?
starts with a driver speeding the wrong direction for 16 miles. Toddler tragedy in Florida.
People were screaming, people were crying.
Caused by a car driving on the beach. And the president spends Memorial Day honoring soldiers killed in the Iran war.
In Operation Epic Fury, we lost 13 wonderful souls, wonderful, special people.
These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Julian Lascano.
And I'm Dylan Bazay, and today is Tuesday, May 26, 2026.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
A fatal car crash on US 1 that is as mysterious as it is tragic. How could a car heading in the wrong direction make it 16 miles at high speeds? The fiery crash in Martin County left that wrong-way driver dead and injured 2 young children and 2 adults.
We get the story now from Caplin News alum and WPTV reporter Samantha Gutierrez.
Sunday, just before 5 p.m., the Martin County Sheriff's Office says deputies were alerted to a driver heading the wrong way on US 1. Authorities say a U.S. Border Patrol agent first spotted the suspect near Broadway Street in Riviera Beach and attempted to stop the vehicle. What followed was a 16-mile chase.
It's pretty scary. And the fact that they got 16 miles.
During the pursuit, investigators say Jupiter police successfully deflated one of the vehicle's tires before the suspect attempted to run over an officer. The chase eventually came to an end after the driver, according to investigators, crashed into 2 vehicles and burst into flames near Jonathan Dickinson State Park in Hobe Sound. The suspect behind the wheel died at the scene. 4 others were injured, including a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Thankfully, for all 4 of them, considering how bad this crash was, they will survive and hopefully make a full recovery.
Carlos Jaramillo owns a souvenir shop close to where it all ended. He was on US 1 Sunday afternoon.
I have to go in that intersection and make a U-turn, and that was right before I started seeing the cops, so, I could have been on his way.
Jupiter residents Easton Johnson and Will Plum told me they were left stunned.
Mind-boggling that he even made it 16 miles down the road. Like, that is going that fast in the wrong way, and also that he hit innocent people.
In Hobe Sound, Samantha Gutierrez, WPTV News.
A family is dealing with the ultimate grief this morning after a fun day at the beach turned into a tragedy in Central Florida. As WKMG's Gerald Baker reports, a toddler ran into a traffic lane on the beach and was hit by a car and killed.
I had no words to express how saddening this is. And there's nothing that'll ever make that family feel better.
The Volusia County Sheriff's Office says it happened around 4 p.m. Saturday afternoon near East 7th Avenue in New Smyrna Beach when a toddler ran into the traffic lane and was hit by a car.
Where you see the marker is obviously where the little girl was.
Mia Laporne says that she'll never forget what she saw that day.
A little girl was face down in the sand. Very sad. People were screaming, people were crying. Obviously, it's a very tragic event.
The toddler was rushed to a nearby hospital, but she did not survive. Now some beachgoers say the tragedy is raising questions about safety where cars and families share the sand.
I don't think driving on the beach should be done with. I think it's a good thing. But maybe there's a driving lane that's fenced and there's a separate walk path.
Others believe that drivers need to be more careful, especially when it comes to children.
They run, they're excited, they're at the beach, so you need to take more due course of taking action and slowing down.
Investigators say that the driver stayed on scene, and right now it does not appear that speed or impairment were factors.
No one should want to take their kids to the beach and end up thinking like this, it's so sad.
In Volusia County, Jarrell Baker, News 6.
An unwanted guest at beaches from Miami-Dade all the way up to Martin County this holiday weekend. As Tyler Hatfield from WPTV reports, it's the seaweed bloom called sargassum.
I'm Tyler Hatfield in Martin County, and beachgoers are hitting the sand here this weekend at Jensen Beach, but they might see this littering all over the shoreline. It's sargassum, and I spoke to local experts about why it's here and how to avoid it.
Okay, let's make sandcastles.
Playing in the sand.
It is a lot.
In between the sargassum.
We're trying to play around it.
Stephanie and her family improvising.
We're kind of here and then relax time over there.
It's not very pleasant to be around.
I listened to Mark Perry with the Florida Oceanographic Society, who tells me we're seeing more sargassum on our coastline. In 2011, a large amount of sargassum formed in a new belt in the Atlantic off of Africa. and has since pushed its way to our coastline.
They've reached record levels last year or so, but they're not quite there at this time.
In the ocean, Perry says sargassum is essential for marine life.
There are a lot of smaller fish and crabs and shrimp that harbor in that, and of course they're the food source for bigger fish.
But once on shore,
it's a little irritating, yeah.
I walked the beach with Captain Derek Brown with Martin County Ocean Rescue. He says beachgoers should avoid stepping on these large patches of it.
Could be holes, could be other types of debris that collect on the beach and could become like a foot or a trip hazard.
Brown says sargassum on the beach or in the water can have jellyfish, sea lice, and other organisms that can irritate the skin.
It can rub against the skin and really create a lot of rashes.
It can stink too, like rotten eggs, as it breaks down on the beach. Stephanie and her family,
It'd be nicer if it's a little cleaner.
making the best of it.
Making sand castles, right guys?
In Martin County.
Good job.
I'm Tyler Hatfield, WPTV News.
Thousands are returning home with the scaling back of evacuation orders after reducing the risk of a chemical tank explosion. Evacuations began last week Thursday while officials worked on the site dousing the tank with cool water. The tank holds 7,000 gallons of a chemical called MMA, which can cause serious health problems. While the danger has been reduced, authorities say the tank continues to pose a risk.
Venezuelan Nobel laureate Maria Corina Machado making a special visit to Panama. The visit took place over the weekend. Both traditional and independent parties gathered for a closed-door meeting to discuss a strategy that would make Machado the president. The opposition leaders say that she believes the presidential election will happen in less than a year from now. It comes after several Venezuelan government officials claim Machado will not be able to run.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio arrived in Armenia this morning as part of a diplomatic push in the South Caucasus region. The trip included meetings with Armenian Foreign Minister Ararat Mirzoyan, focusing on strengthening relations and regional security. The visit comes as part of a U.S.-backed regional initiative aiming to reopen transportation and trade links between Armenia and Azerbaijan after years of conflict.
And the U.S. military says it carried out what it called self-defense strikes around the Strait of Hormuz yesterday. U.S. Central Command says the strikes targeted Iranian missile launch sites and boats. The strikes come as the U.S. and Iran are working towards a peace deal. They also come as the U.S. honors deceased American service members on Memorial Day. Caplin Stephanie Diaz has a story.
Taps plays at the tomb of the unknown soldier in Arlington National Cemetery Monday as President Donald Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth offer Memorial Day salutes. Trump honored U.S. service members, including those lost in connection with the Iran war.
In Operation Epic Fury, we lost 13 wonderful souls, wonderful, special people. These incredible men and women gave their lives to ensure that the world's #1 state sponsor of terror will never have a nuclear weapon.
U.S. officials say disagreements over language in the agreement about Iran's nuclear program and sanctions relief have delayed a final agreement between the U.S. and Iran on a potential peace deal.
They will have very general terms about Iran's nuclear commitments. The details will have to be negotiated later, and those details might never be finalized, just like the Gaza ceasefire agreement that never went into phase 2.
A U.S. official says the White House wants to see Iran give up its stockpile of highly enriched uranium and wants to ensure that the Strait of Hormuz will be reopened before any deal is finalized. Speaking Monday, Iran's foreign ministry spokesman said that there is no imminent signing of an agreement set to take place.
Because politics and decision-making in the United States are experiencing a kind of institutionalized instability, that within a few hours you will encounter different and in many cases contradictory views.
I'm Stephanie Diaz reporting.
South Beach was taken over by fighter jets this past weekend as the annual Hyundai Air and Sea Show came to town. Plenty of jets roared over spectators, including the Homestead Air Base's very own Mako Squadron. Also making the show were the elite Air Force demo team, the Thunderbirds, made up of 6 F-16 Fighting Falcons. They showed off flying in tight formation and also made sneak passes, surprising the crowd. The Air and Sea Show will return to South Beach next year. An octagon is being set up on the White House lawn.
That's still ahead, and so is the story.
Really slow out. Owen Casey drills this out towards the gap in right center. That baby is ticketed for the wall.
The Marlins are on the road north of the border and looking to continue their winning streak. Newsbreak will be back in just 2 minutes.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Every day.
Millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together,
we should still make an effort.
We should still make an effort
to get to know each other
on a deeper level.
Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor.
It's time we take a step forward.
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life. But how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have something called prediabetes. Take the 1-minute risk test today.
The Marlins are looking to continue their winning ways after a sweep of the New York Mets. The Fish spent Memorial Day outside of the U.S. playing in Toronto.
And as Caplin's Kevin Burrell reports, it would be a Canadian who would help seal the win against the Blue Jays.
After sweeping the New York Mets to cap off a 4-3 homestand, the Miami Marlins took the road to kick off a 3-city road trip in Toronto against the Blue Jays. The Marlins extended their win streak to a season-best 4 games with an 8-2 blowout win. With Blue Jays starter Trey Savage on the mound, it looked like a mismatch on paper for the Marlins, but they wasted no time as Otto Lopez drove in Xavier Edwards on a sac fly, making it 1-0 in the top of the first inning. Owen Casey, a native of Ontario, Canada, extended Miami's lead in the top of the fifth 2-0 on an RBI double. In the top of the 8th inning, he would cap off the Marlins' night with an RBI single, making it 8-2. Jansen Junk got the start for the Marlins, where in 5 innings of work he allowed just 1 run while striking out 3. The Marlins improved to 26-29 on the season, and Sandy Alcantara will take the mound today at 7:07 p.m. from the Rogers Center in Toronto. For Caplin News, I'm Kevin Burrell.
The Knicks are heading back to the NBA Finals after completing a sweep in the Eastern Conference. The New York Knicks keeping their playoff hopes alive yesterday after completing a clean sweep against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Having a dominating performance, they made their first appearance in a final in over 27 years. The final score was Knicks 130, Cavaliers 93.
The White House will become a temporary venue for next month's UFC fight. President Trump is hosting the event with construction workers currently working on a structure that holds about 5,000 people. The fight takes place on June 14th, which also marks the president's 80th birthday.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Julian Lascano.
And I'm Dylan Pizzay. Remember, you can get more news anytime at caplinnews.fiu.edu.